What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today, once again in this video, we're going to be discussing and going over all the latest news and quite a variety of topics worth knowing about. The beta is less than a week away now, so as expected, there's quite a lot of stuff to talk about. But one of the more interesting things that happened today was an ad that popped up on the official Destiny Instagram account, and this confused a lot of people and definitely started quite a rumor. So Reddit user screenshotted this ad campaign on the official Instagram account, and this was an ad saying that there's going to be 2 campaign missions inside the beta. That was the description. So this obviously led a lot of people to think they might have accidentally leaked this, and they planned to surprise us with this extra story mission, but accidentally leaked it in their own ad campaign. But as it turns out, Cosmo, one of the Bungie community managers, actually squashed this rumor by confirming there is only 1 mission inside the beta. So there's your answer. It is a false rumor, and I guess it was a mistake. We still don't know what's the deal with the ad and why it said 2 missions, but maybe someone over there mistook the strike as a mission. But either way, the ad is incorrect, and I assume it's been taken down and corrected so it won't be popping up anymore in advertising that there's 2 missions. So if you hear that rumor or any discussion about it, now you know that isn't true and it's actually false. We're only getting the 1 campaign mission called Homecoming. Also the inverted spy strike. There's the Crucible map Midtown where you can play the countdown game mode. There's the Crucible map Endless Vale where you can play the control game mode. And of course the farm is going to be available for 1 hour on the last day of the beta. And we still don't know exactly if there's going to be 6 subclasses or just the 3. We did hear both from Bungie, so we're going to have to wait to find out on that. And as a final note for the beta, PlayStation did say that you should be able to start the process of preloading it as early as tomorrow, so definitely worth keeping an eye out for. So next up, Bungie released some sort of mini trailers for the Crucible, showing Lord Shaxx giving a speech to some Guardians. This appears to be a cutscene, and possibly our introduction to the Crucible in Destiny 2. There's a really cool shot of the Hunter using some kind of void samurai sword, just really cut someone apart. But something that caught my eye was the presence of Lord Saladin in the actual graphic that you can see standing next to Shaxx. So I guess that confirms Saladin is also in Destiny 2 and he hasn't disappeared. We know the Iron Temple did get attacked by the Red Legion, but Tyra Khan did survive, who made it to the farm, and she's now a new Cryptarch. But this also means that Saladin survived too, and he's going to have some involvement in the game as well. There was that leak a while back revealing a character called the Iron Guard, who we can assume is going to be involved with the Iron Banner, which is also returning. So now we know of 2 characters, Lord Saladin and the Iron Guard, and it'll be interesting to see which of them, or both of them, how they're involved with the Iron Banner tournament. Now, something pretty random is that we did learn the Vex Cyclops is going to be returning as an enemy in Destiny 2. This footage showed off for the first time, so you can see that's one of the Vex enemies. You don't see too often, but he's going to be making an appearance. And you can see a Sentinel one-hitting him with the shield. I'm wondering how much health he had, because normally they're pretty tanky, so I'm wondering how much damage the shield actually does, and if the Cyclops was weak beforehand. Now, this clip was pretty interesting because we got to see a Sentinel pop a Wall of Dawn bubble. But if you don't focus on that and actually look at the background, you can see that is definitely Mercury. So there it is. I've been saying it for a while now, but that one loading screen did see them flying into Mercury. But now we can see this is definitely where they're flying into, and Mercury is going to be a Crucible map in Destiny 2. You can see the big sun as a skybox and the Vex design, and also the big ornament things that hang in the background, the same as the lighthouse. So it's interesting to know that even though Mercury isn't an explorable planet in Destiny 2, we can still go there for at least 1 Crucible map. I guess it's similar to the Reef in Destiny 1. You couldn't explore it as a location, but we did have that Crucible map there and the social space and the prison. So I expect some activities to be set on Mercury in Destiny 2, and maybe some other planets as well, like maybe the Dreadnought or the Moon, Mars, Venus. It's very possible that lots of these could be locations for Crucible maps where they're set, but not exactly places you can go and explore in patrol mode. So something else we got to look at in this footage was an example of a public event on Nessus, which is called the Cabal Excavation. You need to override the mining lander, and you link Guardians basically to stand in the same spot and override the landers. Seems a bit similar to the Fallen Extraction crews we've got on Earth, but we can't really see much else other than them just being bombarded by a missile strike, having to defend the area basically. So a Defender Bubble seems pretty perfect for the situation. So let's talk more about the Defender Bubble itself and things we know about it. Of course, we learned about its existence last month in an E3 interview when Luke Smith said that you can actually pop a bubble as well as using the Sentinel. So just to be clear, you can have the option. We don't know exactly how it works, whether it's a cluster or a perk. At one point, you can have the option of either going Sentinel and using the Roman Super, or popping a bubble and having it go instead. Obviously, you won't have both. You can't just like use your super and then pop a bubble at the end, or pop a bubble and then go roaming super. It's one or the other, but you do have the choice, so you still get to choose between 2 different supers, which is definitely a lot for 1 subclass. Now, it does seem the bubble is quite a bit bigger. It also does the Armor of Light perk, which is very interesting to see. So that is going to be returning as a main bubble perk, and it's probably going to be the only one. I can't imagine them having Blessing and Weapons of Light, seeing as the Warlock Rift has that as well. I think it's likely the bubble is only Armor of Light, and that's just how it is. I think it's very likely that one cluster in the Sentinel tree is going to be for offensive stuff, like using the melee ability on the actual roaming super, and one's probably going to be defensive for the actual bubble, probably enhancing that slightly. You can see that when he pops the bubble, the super bar does get depleted instantly. It does take a little second, but it does go down completely. So again, you can't just pop the bubble and then go roaming as a Sentinel. It's one or the other. So once he uses it, the super bar is basically gone. Now, we've also got to look at the defend mode, where you basically bring up the shield and protect yourself. And we know we've seen before, you can take a couple golden gun shots up close before dying. So you can take a lot of damage and definitely tank a lot of PvE damage especially. Now, one of the most powerful features of the shield does appear to be the ability to throw the shield. Of course, this is going to go and track targets. It bounces off walls and can hit one enemy and bounce off another, and then go hit multiple targets. So this seems very powerful. I'm wondering if you can literally just throw it into a room just blindly, and it'll go and bounce around like a ricochet, like a boomerang, and just basically kill everyone in the room. I'm kind of doubting it'll be that powerful, but who knows? This Sentinel definitely seems very powerful, and possibly the best so far, the ones we've seen, mainly because it's so versatile. You can do so many options. You can defend, you can throw it, you can go melee people, or you can pop a bubble. So it just seems like you can do so much with it. Obviously, it isn't going to be perfect. There are going to be some weaknesses and some things that Sentinel isn't so good at compared to others, but I think out of all of them, this is definitely one people are most excited for. So finally, let's talk about some pretty good news that Bungie told us about the story for Destiny 2. Obviously, it's pretty vague and generally stuff that we would like to hear, but still good to hear nonetheless. They talked about how Destiny 1 was basically setting a foundation, setting up the world and asking the questions, and Destiny 2 is about answering a lot of those big questions. So Bungie are ready to tell a big, expansive and cinematic story, and one of them is going to be the Traveler. That's what they're going to focus on, which is definitely really good to hear. I mean, like I said numerous times, the Traveler's basically become like a bit of scenery. It's just a backdrop in the background. You forget about it. Almost everyone forgets the Traveler is even there, and no one really knows what it does, where it came from. We hardly know anything about it, or the speaker for that matter. There were some pretty good stories back in the Taken King with the Books of Sorrows, and we learned why Oryx hates the Traveler so much and why he has such a vengeance against it. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet on the Traveler's front. But now finally in Destiny 2, they're going to tell so much story, and especially the fact that the Shard of the Traveler exists in the European Dead Zone, you can tell we're going to be going in and around it and learning a bunch of stuff. What's inside the Traveler, what's it made of, what's it doing, and how its light is corrupting the forest around it. But there you go, Bungie is definitely committed on telling a really good story, which is always good to hear. So let me know all of your thoughts on everything I've discussed, as always, in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be much appreciated. Stay tuned for a bunch more Destiny 2 videos, especially next week for the beta. Gonna have a lot of really cool stuff coming to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.